in now. We've had the official figures in. Up to 2,000 on the march today. I think you should all give yourselves a good clap for that. I see the Westminster have put the wind machine on the day. It's up to Hooley. We might get a bit of rain later on. They've not quite figured out the instructions on the rain machine, I don't think. But up to 2,000. Very good. We just let folk come in and then get into the body of the kirk, and then we'll begin proceedings. Know some of the Alpa Pipers here today as well. Big shout out to them, regulars on the march. And the Yes Bikers. Noticed a few of them wandering about the tune today. Yes Carrick, who are there. Independence is normal. Amen to that.
Now you decide to show me the same. Make me feel drag me away. Voices couldn't drag me away. Make me feel bitter. Or treat you
Well, hello here. It's a pleasure to be here. I've got to admit, this is the first time I've been here for an All Under One banner demonstration. It's a bra wee place. I remember coming here on holiday in Butlins many years ago. The sun was shining. What happened? Westminster must undoubtedly have put the wind machine on the day, and apparently it's registered for Hooley. So we're going to try and get things going as quickly as possible. But it's a pleasure to be back in Ayr. It's a place associated with fair women and honest men, and I'm sure a lot of the other genders are our bra folk as well. Now, we've got a great rally here for you today. Some brass speakers. We've got some brass musicians as well. Pete Scully, the Indie Elvis, is gracing us with their presence today. But the first speaker that we've actually got on is a very, I usually give a bit of a rant, you know, at the beginning of these rallies, but I'm not going to bother today, and you'll see why. Because the first speaker we've got on today, he's a really good football player. He was a star forward for East Kilbride Thistle in their title-winning season in 1998-1999. And he's also a bit of a public speaker, apparently. So I'll ask you to put your hands together, give a big indie welcome for Tommy Sheridan.
Thanks very much, Tony. Brothers and sisters, thanks very much to All Under One Banner for the invitation to address today's rally. And thanks to All Under One Banner for keeping this movement going, for keeping the marches going, and for reminding the whole of Scotland that there is one issue, and one issue alone, that we should be prioritising as a people, as a country. And that issue, of course, is the right to take our own decisions in our own country on the matters that are important to Scotland. Independence is the issue that matters to Scotland. Don't let anyone deflect from this idea that at elections there are multiple issues that are important. We know that. Poverty, low pay, pathetic pensions, homelessness, the lack of social house building, all of those issues are important. We don't need to be told that, we know it. But we also know that the route to tackling poverty, the route to tackling low pay, the route to introducing a living pension comparable to the rest of Europe, the route to tackling all those problems is not Westminster. Westminster is a roadblock to tackling poverty. Westminster is the problem, not the solution. That's what we have to say. You know, people would have us believe that we have a problem with inflation, which feeds a cost of living crisis. And one of the reasons, one of the drivers behind this cost of living crisis is the demands of workers for wages that actually keep track with inflation. In other words, blame not the bosses, not the millionaires, not the billionaires. Blame ordinary workers for the problems of trying to heat your home properly, the problems of making sure your children are catered for, the problems of everyday living. Don't blame the rich, blame each other. So when workers in our health service, when workers in the rail industry, when workers in education, when they quite rightly come together in an organised fashion and strike for better wages, we should say loud and clear, we are taking a side, and we are on the side of the workers. We are always on the side of the workers. The billionaires and the millionaires, They can strike all they want. Nobody would bloody notice that they were striking because they add so little to our national wealth. Brothers and sisters, I want to give you a couple of numbers. Don't want to hold you long. I want to give you a number 68. 68. That's the last time, 68 years ago, the last time the Tories ever won an election in Scotland. 68 years ago. Many of you, probably most of you, weren't born. A whole lifetime, sometimes two. 68 years ago. The party that introduced the most destructive policy and programme of privatisation, of selling off the public assets, that party never ever won support in Scotland. And we should be angry. Very, very angry. Just last month there was a meeting of the Centrica shareholders, and they voted to rubber stamp the wages and bonus package of Chris O'Leahy. Now some of you, most of you have never heard of Chris O'Leahy. Chris O'Leahy is the managing director of Centrica. His basic wage is £790,000. That's his basic wage. Last month, he was given a bonus package. A bonus package. This from the company that had to apologise for sending out debt collectors to break into the homes of the vulnerable and the poor, to forcibly introduce smart meters into people's homes because they couldn't pay their electricity and gas bills. That company apologised. And last month, they rubber stamped a bonus package of £3.7 million for Chris O'Leahy. 3.7 on top of £790,000. Brothers and sisters, you will have been as angry as everyone else at British Gas, announcing the last couple of days the profit has increased to almost £1,000 million. Centrica, however, behind the scenes, Centrica's profits were also announced. Their profits weren't £1,000 million. Their profits were £6,500 million. 6.5 billion. Why should we be angry? Here's why we should be angry. What are these people making money from? Selling gas and electricity. For Christ's sake, how can you not make money? It's a basic necessity of life. And it used to belong to us. It used to belong to the people. Brothers and sisters, we never supported the party that privatised that. We should always remember the sketch, the wonderful sketch of Rory Bremner, the comedian. Do you remember it from a few years ago? Two pals in the pub, and one pal's looking off a sad, off a glum. And his mate says to him, "What's wrong with you?" He says, "Oh, last night." "Oh, that's bad, that's terrible." He says, "No, it's worse than that." "How's it worse than that?" "The guy that stole my motor chapped my door this morning, and he's offered to sell it back to me." And the boy says, "But that's theft." He says, "No, that's privatisation." Think about it, brothers and sisters. Think about it. We own the gas, the electricity, the telecommunications, the railways, the buses. We owned those essential industries. We still own the water here in Scotland, but not in England and Wales. And those Tories who never had a mandate here in Scotland sold them off. Brothers and sisters, I think in an independent Scotland, we should stand up for a different set of values, a different set of priorities. Instead of the sale of essentials like gas and electricity, instead of essential industries like transport and oil, instead of them being in the private sector, bring them into the public sector so they're owned and controlled by the ordinary people. That's what we need, brothers and sisters. Let me finish with another number that's relevant to our march and our cause. 78. 78. Next week, it will be 78 years since an act of grotesque inhumanity, a war crime of obscene proportions was committed when the first nuclear bomb was dropped on the 6th of August in Hiroshima, and 3 days later on Nagasaki. Brothers and sisters, why is that an issue to us? It's an issue to us because we believe in humanity. We believe in human solidarity. But we also believe something that unites the independence cause. We believe in unilateral nuclear disarmament. That's a non-negotiable. When we were walking through Ayr Town Centre, how many of you seen the Marie Curie shop, the cancer research shop, the Alzheimer's research shop? Brothers and sisters, I want an independent Scotland where we don't have a multitude of charities having to collect for essential research on illnesses that are affecting our people. I want a country that instead of investing billions of pounds every year in weapons of mass destruction, we invest billions of pounds every year in cures, in caring, and looking after people. That's the values we want in an independent Scotland. Brothers and sisters, at these elections that are on the horizon, my appeal to the whole independence movement is to adopt a slogan that was used in the early 90s and was very, very successful in moving us forward and getting us our parliament back again. Brothers and sisters, in the next elections, whether they be Scottish or Westminster, let's appeal to the whole independence movement. Let's put one issue on that ballot paper. Let that issue be independence, and let the flag that we fight on be Scotland united. Thanks very much, brothers and sisters.
Brilliant speech there for Tommy. That's the, yes, bikers just actually coming up behind us down the front. You can maybe hear them revving their engines there. I mean, one of the things that Tommy was most associated with when he first came to public attention was his role as a major organiser in the poll tax campaign. And with the way that things are going in this country, we have to rediscover the spirit of revolt for the poll tax campaign. We need to put this struggle on a much higher level and make Westminster scared of us again in the way that they were scared of the mass movement of the poll tax back in the late 80s and early 90s. Now, just before I announce the next speaker, can Colette Walker and Peter Bell make their way up to the stage? Now, our next speaker is associated with the Scottish Independence Foundation. It's Ian Grant. Scottish Independence Foundation are major sponsors of these events. Without them, these events probably wouldn't be possible because of their generosity. So I'd like you to put your hands together for Ian Grant. Give him a big, indie, warm welcome.
Hi, I'm here again basically just to ask folk to give money. All Under One Banner marches don't come for free. They need staging, they need PA systems, and essentially all the other paraphernalia and the publicity. And the Scottish Independence Foundation is pleased to support All Under One Banner, but we also support Commonweal, we support actually Business for Scotland, we support Yes groups from the north of Scotland to the south, from the east to the west, and the last, I think, grant went to Yes Kirriemuir. And so that's the first point. Our tent is just to the left of the stage, or your right, and you can come over and either put some cash in or get a leaflet and donate. Also, if you've got projects which are going to need a bit of funding, you know, if you need money for leaflets or any other sorts of activities, come and get a leaflet and apply for cash from us. We've handed out £300,000 in the last 5 years for good causes related to independence. So that's my first point. My second is that my wee book, which I've forgotten to pick a copy up, but they're over there, we have shifted 100,000 copies. A simple book that tells the story of Scotland and why we need to be independent. And a useful introduction if you're giving to friends or you're at a street stall. There's only a handful left, and most of them are in the stand over there. The third point I was going to make is that we're in a pretty dire state, the independence movement at the present time. You know, the Scottish Parliament did its bit in getting the first referendum, although it has to be said that Cameron wanted it anyway because he wanted to smash us. But now we're in a position where for 9 years we've made zero progress. And the Parliament has been sort of reduced to a subservient state. And so I think it's incredibly important now that the politicians have failed to put together a prospectus for independence, and we, the people, have got to do it. And there are various groups doing it. There's Salvo next door to us. But we've set up what is the Independence Forum, where we intend to put together a prospectus for independence. We also think it's absolutely essential that we form a group, a Scottish convention that sits, you know, on a continuous basis, an unofficial parliament, if you like, because if the politicians can't do it, we have to do it. If you want to come and have a chat about any of that, I'm just over at the tent on the left-hand side. Thanks very much.
Thanks for that, Ian. Now, our next speaker is Colette Walker, associated with the ISP, a doughty fighter, somebody who is disabled, knows what it's like to actually struggle with multiple disabilities. So I'll hand you over now to Colette Walker.
Hi, Ayr. Are you still wanting independence? No? All right, okay, might as well go home then. The last time I spoke at the All Under One banner was in Glasgow. And on that same day, there was something happening in London. I think it was a coronation of a king or something. But after that, ISP decided that it was time and it was relevant to put out a statement to say that when we stand in the general election next year, any seats that we win, we will not be taking our seats. We're not going to be going into Westminster, and we're not taking an oath to a foreign king. Because we are sovereign. We are the crown. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. As Tommy just said, we are the crown. We are sovereign. We own the gas, the oil that they have taken from us. Are you willing to take it anymore? Are we going to fight for our independence? Last week, we had a launch in Edinburgh of the Stirling Directive. 11 very dedicated independent supporters came together, non-partisan, and that's what independence is about. It's not about one party or one person. It's about you, the people of Scotland. So 11 of us came together and we came up with this directive because we are sovereign and we are wanting to get Scotland back. Now, we hear about the claim of right. The claim of right is our constitution. It is our legal way of getting back our independence. The claim of right is part of the terms of this treaty that we always hear about by the non-independent supporters. It formed the treaty that came to be the Act of Union that we hear about by the non-independent supporting people. But they never talk about the claim of right. I wonder why. Because we are the sovereign people. They have taken it away from us. It's the biggest violation of our human rights that we've ever had in 317 years, Scotland. Now, as an independent supporter, somebody who has got a disability, somebody that equality and human rights is a passion of mine, and it should be a passion of every single person. The claim of right was one of the most progressive pieces of legislation you'll have ever seen in its day. It was all about fairness and equality, and not one person, no matter how rich or poor, whether you were elected to office or not, nobody was above anybody else. We were equal. Are we going to get back to that, Scotland? Now, we talk about sovereignty and we talk about fairness. Now, it's funny how anytime I speak, I always get the trolls, people slagging me for my disability and having my dog here. Now, that goes a bit low, but I want to take a minute to say that all these people that go on social media and slag a disabled woman for her morals and her principles just because of her disability, you're not going to silence me, and you're not going to silence us. We will get our independence. So the claim of right is not an alien thing. Our sovereignty is not an alien thing. Sovereignty has been recognised in Scotland since 1310 in the Declaration of the Clergy and the People. It was recognised in the Declaration of Arbroath in 1320. It's in the Act of Salvo 1663. And it's also, as we know, in the Claim of Right in 1689. Even though it's part of the treaty and it's been suppressed and hidden and basically made a prisoner, we are about to resurrect it. So are you ready to bring back your claim to get independence? So last week, as I say, we launched the Sterling Directive. So in a minute, I'm going to ask Peter Bell to read out the formal statement that we actually read out outside Holyrood last Saturday. But before we do, I'm going to end the way Peter started the rally last week. Peter then decided that we all wanted to make sure what sovereignty meant. Sovereignty is your authority. You are the power. You are the authority. So are you going to start to use it, Scotland? Okay, so what I want you to do is tell the whole of Scotland that you are sovereign by saying, I, the people of Scotland, are sovereign. I, the people of Scotland, are sovereign. Let hear Holyrood hear it. I, the people of Scotland, are sovereign. Let's hear Westminster. I, the people of Scotland, are sovereign. Thank you. I'm going to pass you on to Peter.
Good afternoon. Colette referred to the Treaty of Union 317 years ago. It wasn't a treaty, it was the stealth annexation of Scotland. The British state is in the process of finalising that annexation now. And if they're not stopped, that's exactly what they'll do. Do you want to live in Greater England? The Sterling Directive. The sovereignty of the people of Scotland over their government, whether at Westminster or Holyrood, is a fact of the constitutional settlement of the Union. The right of a people to self-determination is both a fact of international law and a human right. The Scottish Government has been repeatedly elected by the people of Scotland on the mandate of an independence referendum, a clear expression of the will of the people. The Westminster Government has legitimate authority over its executive arm in Scotland, the Scottish Parliament. It has no such lawful authority over the Scottish people. The Scottish Government, however, has wrongfully deferred to Westminster sovereignty over the expressed will of the people of Scotland. We, the people, now expect and direct the Scottish Government and all our representatives to honour the law of Scotland and the constitutional settlement agreed as a condition of the Union by 1. Informing the Westminster Government that its asserted sovereignty in Scotland is unlawful and all supporting interpretations, rulings and statutes are null and void. 2. Complying with the preeminent law of the constitutional settlement by either announcing a referendum on Scottish independence as specified and only as specified, and passing the relevant legislation at the beginning of the next parliamentary session, or taking immediate steps for a plebiscitary election on independence, beginning with a national convention of elected representatives and the wider civic community, with the task of building a coalition of single-issue independence candidates. We seek and expect the restoration of our sovereignty and human rights under both domestic and international law. To this end, we shall continue to take whatever action is required, including, if necessary, referring the matter to the European Court of Human Rights. End the Union. End it now.
Wonderful. Just hope that something comes of this Stirling Directive and we actually get the convention, bring the different organisations of the wider indie movement together so that we can actually start taking on Westminster seriously. Now, we're going to have a short musical interlude here, but before we do, I just want to make an announcement. Is there a Peter Marshall here? You're missing. Your wife is ahead the stage here, and she's beside herself. So please make yourself known if you're around here. The other thing I'd like to do is just give a quick shout out to the people behind the scenes that actually make these events actually possible. My name's Tony Cox. I'm the chair of this, the compare. I just turn up and blether for a wee bit. But all the hard work is actually done by a myriad of other people, notably Neil Mackay, who's a major organiser for All Under One Banner. Should give him a round of applause. Lynn MacDonald, the stage manager, who's always getting on my case to hurry things up. Where would it be without her? A round of applause for Lynn. Bruno Cellini, who basically organises the sound, makes sure that we can actually be heard. And Gordon McRae, the head steward, and all the stewards that actually make the event possible in a safe manner. Now, the next person I want to hand over to is Pete Scally. He's been wowing audiences for years at these events, and I'm a big fan. So put your hands together for Indy's very own Elvis, Pete Scally.
Hello, Air. How yous doing? What? Right, listen, I'm not singing this, but I just want to try something, right? Do-do-do-do. That was shite, wasn't it? Want to try again? Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Oh, flower of Scotland, when will we see your legs again? They're fought and died for your wee bit Helen Glen and stood against him. Proud Edward's army sent him homeward to think again. The hills are bare now and autumn leaves lie thick and still. Our land that is lost now, that those so dearly held and stood against him. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again. Go, 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 go! Don't know if I'll fall down if I jump up and down too much. Those days are past now, and in the past they must remain, for we can still rise now and be a nation again that stood against him. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again. Oh, flower of Scotland, when will we see your legs again? They fought and died for Got a wee bit hill and glen and stood against it. Proud Edward's army and sent him homeward to think again. Sent him homeward to think again. We sent him homeward to think again. Thank you very much, you're very kind. Thanks for staying, even though it's getting slightly more miserable. Use lot, back. Don't care if you've got ponchos on and it's raining. Back. Those of you that done the march, did you pass a wee load of pathetic people with Union Jacks on a corner? Did you see the one that was dressed all in pink? Did you see him? I did ask him if he was starring in the Barbie movie or he was going to watch it and then started singing Barbie Girl to him. And even his own Yun pals laughed at him, so result. Teresa don't like it, this flag I'll wear. Boris thinks I'm crazy, cause I comb my hair. I wanna free my country, but I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna rock, gonna roll, gonna do it almost every day. Oh yeah, I'm a Scottish rebel from head to toe. But I gotta keep it rocking everywhere I go. Everybody join us, we're good company. Claim your country back, be a Scottish rebel like me. Been waiting on freedom, I've been waiting too long. Time is over, that's why I'm singing this song. All under one banner, hope over fear, man. Forward as one, we're marching all over this land. Oh yeah, I'm a Scottish rebel from head to toe. But I gotta keep it rocking everywhere I go. Everybody join us, we're good company. Claim your country back, be a Scottish rebel like me. Yeah! We've got the dancers, we've got the dancers. It's a good way to keep warm. We're sending a message, we're sending it clear. We're rising up, boy, our time is here. We'll have a celebration, cause we're gonna do it our own way. And then we'll rock till we drop on Independence Day. Oh yeah, I'm a Scottish rebel from head to toe. But I gotta keep it rocking everywhere I go. Everybody join us, we're good company. Claim your country back, be a Scottish rebel like me. I'm a Scottish rebel from head to toe. But I gotta keep it rocking everywhere I go. Everybody join us, we're good company. Claim your country back, be a Scottish rebel like me. Claim your country back and be a Scottish rebel like me. Be a real cool cat, be a rockin' Scottish rebel like me. Oh yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks to my dancers. Fabulous dancers. You were getting recruited. I don't know how long I've got. 2 years? 3 years? I'm not sure. Let's keep going, eh? You guys know this one. I don't know If you can see the changes that have come over me these past few days, I've been afraid that I might drift away. So I've been telling old stories, singing songs that make me think about where I came from. That's the reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you and that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. If I should be called a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. 'Cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. I have moved and kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, lost the friends I needed losing, found others on the way. And I have tried, kept on trying, stolen dreams, yeah, there's no denying. I've traveled far with conscience flying, somewhere in the wind. Let me tell you that I love you and that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. If I should be called a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. 'Cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. We instrumental dance time. So I'm sitting here before the fire, the empty room, the forest choir, the flames they don't get any higher, they're withered now, they're gone. And so I'm steady thinking, my way is clear, and I know what I will do tomorrow. When the hands are shaking and the kisses flown, I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you and that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. If I should be called a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. 'Cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. One more. Let me tell you that I love you and that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, and now I'm going home. If I should be called a stranger, know that it would make me more than sad. 'Cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Thank you. How long have I got left? One more hour? Do, 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 do. Wendy, you lead it. Ready? Do, 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 do. The second someone mentioned you were all alone, I could feel the trouble coursing through your veins, and now I know it's got a hold. Just a phone call left unanswered had me sparking up. These cigarettes won't stop me wondering where you are. Don't let go. Keep a hold. 'Cause if you look into the distance, there's a house upon a hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you feel safe to feel like grace. We've all made mistakes if you've lost your way. And I will leave the light on. 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 So tell me what's been happening, what's been on your mind. Lately you've been searching for a darker place to hide. That's alright. But if you carry on abusing, you'll be robbed from us. I refuse to lose another friend I love. Don't let go. Keep a hold. 'Cause if you look into the distance, there's a house upon a hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you feel safe to feel like grace. We've all made mistakes if you've lost your way. And I will leave the light on. 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 Cause if you look into the distance, there's a house upon a hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you feel safe to feel like grace. If you've lost your way, if you've lost your way. And I know you're down and out now, but I need you to be brave. Hiding from the truth ain't gonna make this all okay. I feel your grace, if you feel like grace, if you've lost your way. And I will leave the light on. 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 And I will leave the light on. I will leave the light on. I will leave the light on.
Never disappoints. What a star. Big round of applause, please, for Pete Scally. Now, our next speaker is a councillor for East Ayrshire. He's no a local laddie. He came here on a school trip 20 years ago, fell in love with the place, and he actually represents Ayr. And he's pledged himself. He says he doesn't remember this as the place he actually visited 20 years ago, and he wants to bring Ayrshire and Ayr back to its formal glory. So give a big round of applause to the local representative, the councillor for East Ayrshire, Chris Cullen.
Well, don't know how I'm following Pete, but I'll give it a go. As you may have noticed, I'm a local now, but originally I'm not. I'm an Irishman, and standing here, I'm standing as a call to action. for Scotland to break free from the grip of Westminster rule and embrace the transformative power of independence. We are gathered here because we believe Scotland that thrives, a Scotland that's governed by the will of its people, and a Scotland that's free to determine its own destiny. As an Irishman, I'm standing here in my adoptive country. I can draw parallels between our struggle and a historic fight for independence. The Irish struggle has left us valuable lessons and inspiration, reminding us that the pursuit of independence is not only justifiable, but necessary for our nation's self-determination and prosperity. Both Scotland and Ireland have faced the challenge of asserting their unique identity and values while being governed by external forces. The Irish people fought tirelessly to break free from British rule, recognising their distinct culture, language and heritage deserve protection and promotion. Similarly, Scotland, with its rich history and diverse traditions, seeks to preserve its identity under the shadow of Westminster. The Irish experience teaches us that the road to independence is often arduous and requires unwavering dedication. It reminds us that our struggle is not an isolated but part of a broader history of nations seeking autonomy and liberation. The Irish people's determination, resilience and unity inspire us to stand firm in our belief that independence is the path towards a brighter future for Scotland. Just as Ireland faced its challenges in the claiming its resources and economic sovereignty, Scotland too deserves control over its vast assets, such as energy and natural reserves. Both nations have witnessed decisions being made in distant corridors of power, decisions that may not reflect the best interests of the people. But it's not just the Irish example that urges us to take back control of our resources, harnessing them for the benefit of our society. There are over 40 other nations that have claimed their independence from Britain since the Act of Union. Under Westminster rule, we have witnessed policies that neglect the needs and aspirations of the Scottish people. Decisions made in Westminster may not always align with our values, leading to a sense of frustration and disenfranchisement. Independence offers us a chance to take back control and make decisions that truly reflect our vision for a fairer and more just society. Independence is our pathway to social justice and equality. It enables us to prioritise issues that matter most to our communities: healthcare, education, housing, employment opportunities. No longer will we have to bear the brunt of austerity measures imposed from afar. Independence empowers us to build a welfare state that truly cares for its citizens. Independence grants us complete control over abundant resources. Scotland is rich in national reserves of renewable energy, yet these assets have not often been underutilised and mismanaged under London rule. No matter which party's led independence, we can harness these resources to fuel our economic growth, create sustainable jobs, and invest in industries that prioritise innovation and environmental responsibility. London rule has led to our democratic deficit, where our voices are drowned out in the broader UK context. Independence ensures that power resides with us, the Scottish people, and we can establish a government that is directly accountable to its citizens, promoting transparency and inclusivity for decision making. Our democratic rights will be safeguarded and our opinions will carry the weight they deserve. But above all, independence is about hope and empowerment. It's about believing in ourselves and in the resilience of the Scottish spirit. It's about daring to dream and working together to achieve greatness. Let us continue to develop courage, determination and unity as we march forward in our quest for a free and thriving Scotland. Together we can build a nation that cherishes cultural identity, prioritises people's needs and stands proudly as a sovereign member of the global community. Thank you, and let us continue our journey towards an independent Scotland with hope, strength and solidarity.
Amen to that. And our next speaker is also a local representative, previously the SNP MSP between 2015 and 2017 for Ayr. Prior to that, she was also an SNP councillor for East Ayrshire, the same ward as Chris Cullen, between 2012 and 2015. I'd like you to put your hands together for an ALBA member now, somebody who stood for ALBA in the local elections. Put your hands together now for Corey Wilson.
Hi there, fellow nationalists. Absolutely brilliant to see so many of you here in my local hometown. Today, I stand before you with a passion in my heart and an unwavering conviction for the future of Scotland. Our nation's history is intertwined with tales of valour, resilience, unyielding spirit and struggles that has defined us for centuries. From Robert the Bruce convening the first Scottish Parliament only 2 streets away over there in 1315 to settle the succession of the Crown, to the signing of the Articles of the Union in 1706, exactly 317 years ago last week, our ancestors have fought fiercely for the autonomy and independence that we must now reclaim. Let us take a moment to remember the brave souls who've dared to envision a united Scotland, coming together under the banner of freedom and shared values. Those we have lost over the last few years who never saw their dream becoming reality, like the wonderful Winnie Ewing, who blazed a trail for us all, and locally, Isabel Wallace, Nan and Angus MacFarlane, Chick Brodie, Tommy O'Loan, and sadly, too many others, too many to mention, who've all given a lifetime of activism. But as we reflect on the past, we must also confront the present. Our voices are stifled, and our destiny is entangled in a union that does not serve our best interests. The Articles of Union may have been a paper unpacked by the elite, who, a local man once said, was bought and sold for English gold, but they do not bind our spirit. Our people have always cherished their identity, their unique culture, and their deep-rooted traditions. We're a nation of poets, inventors, pioneers who have made profound contributions across the world. Yet, as part of a larger union, our distinctive voice is muted, our potential restrained, and our resources stolen as our people go cold and hungry. No more. It's time for us to chart our own course, to forge a path towards self-determination, where we can make our own decisions that reflect our values and our aspirations. The Scottish Parliament under Bruce showed us the strength of a sovereign nation, where decisions were made by and for the people. It's our right to reclaim that legacy, to govern ourselves and shape our own future. Leaving the Union is not about isolating ourselves. It's about reconnecting with the essence of who we are. It's about ensuring the decisions that shape our lives are made right here within the borders of our beloved homeland. By standing tall as an independent nation, we engage with the world as equal, fostering international relations built on mutual respect and cooperation, and never again be at the beck and call of the warmongers. Some may argue that leaving the Union will bring uncertainty. I believe being in the Union brings uncertainty. So let us remember the strength of our forebears who faced challenges with unwavering courage. Independence is not the path of least resistance, but it's the path of hope and promise, where we can build a Scotland that thrives on its own terms. Imagine a Scotland where our resources are managed sustainably, our education system fosters creativity and curiosity, and where our healthcare is a right for all and not just a privilege for the few. Independence allows us to use our huge wealth of resources to prioritise the needs of our people, invest in our communities, and build a future that leaves no one behind. So friends, let us embrace the spirit of our ancestors and reclaim that destiny that's rightfully ours. Let us breathe life into the dreams of those who came before us and carve a path to a brighter future. Together, with passion and determination, we can free ourselves from the shackles of Westminster and step into a new era of Scottish independence. I believe in Scotland's potential. I believe in our resilience. And I believe that united, Scotland united, we can build a future that will make our ancestors proud. And I believe in you all to make it happen. Let us stand together, shoulder to shoulder, and forge a Scotland that stands tall and strong, an independent nation that shines as a beacon of hope and progress for all generations to come. I'd like to say thanks to Susie and the whole All Under One Banner team for their organisation of today and for all the other marches that they do. It's important that we all come together to do this type of rally. May the spirit of Scotland guide us on this historic journey. And this time, let us reach that destination. Thank you.
Great speech there for Corey. And with fighters like that, the future of Ayr is indeed bright. Now we're going to hear a wee musical interlude here. Hope folk can hang on, because we've still got 2 or 3 very good speakers to come. Sean Davis for All Under One Banner, and Pat Lee, a great fighter for independence, and a great speaker as well. We've also got a couple of good musicians coming up, so hope folk can hang on. But we've got a great act coming up now. And he's come down all the way from Dundee. He's a firm favourite of these events, along with Pete Scally. He's a superstar of this circuit. Put your hands together for Graham Brown from Dundee.
Hello, Ayr! You still with us? Thank you very much for hanging around, guys. You look amazing, by the way. Ladies and gents, give a big round of applause for Bruno on the sound, by the way. He's here all day. Okay, we're a wee bit behind time, so I'm going to give you 2 or 3 songs and then get off the stage. You've got plenty to come still. I can see the shining light of freedom in your eyes. I can see the arrows fly and the cross in the sky. I've found the road where I hear the battle cry. I can hear the nation tonight. Walk the road and hear the battle cry. Feel the pride when you hear the distant pipes. Loud and clear, 1,000 voices cry. I can hear the nation tonight. Across the sea and far, the flags fly so high. For all our liberty, the fight will never die. It grows so strong, join in and sing this song. I can hear the nation tonight. Let's hear it. Walk the road and hear the battle cry. Feel the pride when you hear the distant pipes. Loud and clear, 1,000 voices cry. I can hear the nation tonight. As the thunder in the fields echo through my mind, it takes me to another place with beauty all around. In dreams of gold, where freedom is never sold. Can you hear the nation tonight? Let's sing this last chorus. Walk the road and hear the battle cry. Feel the pride when you hear the distant pipes. Loud and clear, 1,000 voices cry. I can hear the nation tonight. Come on, Annie, let's hear it. On your own, Annie. Walk the road and hear the battle cry. Feel the pride when you hear the distant pipes. Loud and clear, 1,000 voices cry. I can hear the nation tonight. Walk the road and hear the battle cry. Feel the pride when you hear the distant pipes. Loud and clear, 1,000 voices cry. I can hear the nation tonight. Thank you very much. Okay, so I put it to a wee poll on Facebook and asked you guys what I should sing, and this one come up tops. I'm going to dedicate this to a very good friend of mine, Mr. Partley. Union man said that we can't have a nation to hold. Union man said that we can't have our own pot of gold. Union man said that you'll starve if you're old. Union man said we can't have a nation to hold. Union man said we'll be out in the cold and the dark. Union man said that your land has no heart. Union man said that it's all in the past. Union man, step aside, you had your chance. And watch us rise into the sky. See the passion for freedom in our eyes. We were lost in the lies. Scotland calls, so watch us rise. Labour and Tory men tell us that we are too weak as they celebrate victory won by the man on TV. There's too many questions and too many answers, you see. Cheap points for your stories and lies by the BBC. I could see the road ahead, we're so close. We've travelled so far, this time everyone knows. We must say thanks to the ones who fought for this land. Freedom for me and you, together we stand. So watch us rise into the sky. See the passion for freedom in our eyes. We were lost in the lies. Scotland calls, so watch us rise. Stand in the square, show us you care, fly your flags. If you're a no voter, join us, you won't be the last. Forget the old days, we won't bow down to the man. Scotland's nation will rise by the work of our hands. Oh, Scotland's nation will rise by the work of our hands. Well, let's hear you sing. So watch us rise into the sky. See the passion for freedom in our eyes. We were lost in the lies. Scotland calls, so watch us rise. One more time, come on, let's hear you on your own. So watch us rise into the sky. See the passion for freedom in our eyes. We were lost in the lies. Scotland calls, so watch us rise. Hope over fear, well, don't be afraid. Tell Westminster Tories, Scotland's no longer your slave. Carpe diem, will you seize the day? Rip the chains from the unicorns, show them that Scotland is brave. Come on, let's hear it. Oh, flourish Scotland, when will we see your likes again? I fought and died for your wee but Helen Glen, and stood against him. Proud Edward's army, and sent him home to think again. Those hills are bare now, and autumn leaves lie thick and still. Our land that was lost now, at once was dearly held, and stood against him. Proud Edward's army, and sent him homeward to think again. Oh, flourish Scotland, when will we see your likes again? I fought and died for your wee but Helen Glen, and stood against him. Proud Edward's army, and sent him home to think again. So watch us rise into the sky. See the passion for freedom in our eyes. We were lost in the lies. Scotland calls, so watch us rise. Oh, Scotland calls, so watch us rise. Ladies and gents, give yourselves a huge round of applause for sticking around and marching today. These were fantastic. I'm a very, very proud Dundonian to march alongside you. Scotland calls, so watch us rise. Thank you very much.
Brilliant wee set there for Graham. Just a pity we didn't have a wee bit longer, but the weather is against us. Now, we've got another wee musical interlude here. A couple of numbers here for Finlay Johnston. Now, this is his first time at an event like this. He's a busker and a pub singer in the Ayrshire area. He's probably well known to the locals. So put your hands together and give a big indie welcome to Finlay Johnston.
So we've got a second mic down for the guitar? Or like a second mic down for the guitar? Or no, I was told we could get like a second mic down. Like, All right, I'll play loudly. Yeah. One second, I'm standing here. Technical difficulties, 1 second. Is that it, yeah? You'll hear that, yeah? Great. Hi, I'm Finley. We've had some amazing musicians so far, like really like original, powerful people, and I'm gonna come up here and sing a bunch of shitty covers. So I hope you enjoy. This is the life by Amy McDonald. Oh, the wind whistles down the cold dark streets at night, and the people they were dancing to the music vibe, and the boys chase the girls with the cousin the hell, while the shut-minted youth sits way over there, and the songs that get louder, each one better than before. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head will just decides where you're gonna go, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head will just decides where you're gonna go, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight. So you're heading down the road in your taxi at 4, and you're waiting outside Jimmy's front door, but nobody's in, nobody's home till 4. So you're sitting there with nothing to do, talking about Robert Rocker and his Motley Crew, and where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head will decides where you're gonna go, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head will decides where you're gonna go, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight, where you're gonna sleep tonight. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head will decides where you're gonna go, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight. And you're singing the songs, thinking this is the life, and you wake up in the morning and your head will just decides where you're gonna go, where you're gonna go, where you're gonna sleep tonight, where you're gonna sleep tonight. Thank you. So unfortunately, the Scottish songs I was gonna sing have already been sang. So you're not getting a Scottish one now, but you're getting one that I guarantee most of you will know. If you know it, sing along. This is What's Up by Four Non Blondes. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that this world was made of a brotherhood of man, or whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out, what's in my head, and I know I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath. I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I cry, oh, to God I cry all the time. in this institution. And I pray, oh to God I pray every single day for revolution. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And you know I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath, get real high, and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Thank you.
Great stuff there for Finlay. I'm sure we'll hear more of him in due course. Now, thanks a lot for hanging on. And you're not going to be disappointed for hanging on, because we've got a real treat for you. A speaker after my own heart, somebody that doesn't need any introductions really, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's Pat Lee representing Salvo. Put your hands together for Pat Lee.
Hello here. Well done for hanging on this long. Hope you've enjoyed the day. And I'd like to thank All Under One Banner for inviting us. Let me get rid of this mic. Right, folks. Here we are in Bruce and possibly Wallace country, because everybody claims Wallace and Bruce. Ayrshire has always been pivotal in the campaign for Scottish independence. And to today, we are continuing that determination. Last Saturday, the Stirling Directive was launched in Edinburgh. And we've spoken about that twice already, so I'm not going to repeat that. But what I will do is go through what Sarah delivered to the audience. So it goes without saying, I hope, that Salvo is committed to obtaining international recognition of Scotland's rights. Scotland has rights. Really? What a radical idea. What if we put those rights to work? That will be a radical action. But unlike rainbow or unicorns, the rights of nations are well established in fact. Scotland's rights exist under one of two possible sets of conditions. And only one of these two. As a signatory nation to any treaty has the right to expect the terms and limits agreed. This is the right of peoples and nations and not just of states. These terms and limits must not only exist, but they must define the character of the agreement. In Scotland's case, its position in the United Kingdoms of Great Britain. Those terms and limits mean we have a right, here and now, to the sovereignty of our people over their governments and the exclusive control of Scottish territorial resources, including our energy. Otherwise, that state calling itself the United Kingdom does not exist either in law or in fact. Well, I say take a look under that Union Jack, because what's strutting around stark naked underneath is just England, all on its own. From the Magna Carta to the Union, from the English Bill of Rights to the Supreme Court, and most of all, the English Crown. And with all its English rights and privileges, while the Scottish Crown and the whole people of this nation is shoved to one side. Now that's no union. That's just England playing overlord, wearing a flag and waving around a treaty it never once kept. That is called annexation. But perhaps that is our political reality. The British English state does seem to be arguing that Scotland volunteered for annexation and for everything that has cost us in terms of our culture, our history, our languages, social values, laws, and our constitution. We volunteered for genocidal annihilation of our population and identity, volunteered for the dispossession of our rights as a sole sovereign territorial nation, rights to the exclusive ownership and control of our own natural resources. We volunteered for poverty and deprivation. Aye, right. But if ever there was any such voluntary annexation, here's what the British establishment cannot get away from. There is no such creature in international law as a voluntary annexed nation. No such thing as a lawful voluntary annexation of an entire nation, even if their treaty says that. So what are the rights of the annexed nation? However offensive you might find the word, however you wish to refute it with the usual stereotypes of a colony, a nation annexed is a colony, no matter what colonies may look like. An annexed nation has the right to international assistance to decolonize. And I can tell you that Salvo will not stop until those rights are recognised and upheld. We are sponsoring and participating in the Stirling Directive. However, because it stands on the sovereignty, on the absolute authority of the Scottish people alone, an authority that must be restored to its rightful place above all other authorities of state. Scottish popular sovereignty means more than the right to vote. It means that the people can act on their own authority because we are the authority. And by acting on that authority, that is inherently and lawfully ours, the Scottish people can empower our representatives to respect and obey that higher power than Westminster. And that higher power is we, the people. It not only opens the door to independence, but also the kind of political reform which will enable Scotland to reflect our own political values and constitutional provisions instead of those of our foreign neighbour, England. A Scotland based on the common good and the sovereignty of its people, from which come all those principles of equality and social justice that we have held in common through 3 centuries have been ruled by a class-based, privilege-based foreign state. That rule ends now. And a Scotland that lives and breathes in all of us begins today. And I'm going to finish with a wee poem that I come across. I had a 10-minute speech for you, but we've not got the time for that. It's from Ferlinghetti, who passed away in 2021 at the age of 122. And this was written in 2007. Pity the nation. Pity the nation whose people are sheep and whose shepherds mislead them. Pity the nation whose leaders are liars, whose sages are silenced, and whose bigots haunt the airwaves. Pity the nation that raises not its voice except to praise conquerors and acclaim the bully as hero, and aims to rule the world by force and by torture. Pity the nation that knows no other language but its own, and no other culture but its own. Pity the nation whose breath is money and sleeps with the sleep of the too well fed. Pity the nation, or pity the people who allow their rights to erode and their freedoms to be washed away. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty. We, the people, have the power in our hands today. Come and join us at the Salvo, excuse me, at the Salvo stall and put the pressure on the government. Our pressure, our power. Let us deliver Scotland's independence. Thank you very much.
Great speech again there for Pat. He never disappoints. And urge everybody to get yourselves along to the Salvo stall and help out work that is absolutely essential if we're going to achieve our independence. Now, our last speaker today is from the younger generation of activists. He's actually known locally as the Laird of Convention. He started in the SNP, he's now an AUOB member. He's the convener of the East Ayrshire Local Area Campaign Unit of All Under One Banner. Put your hands together for Sean Davis.
Thank you for coming today. And those that have never been here before, welcome. Now's the day and now's the hour. See the front of battles there. Westminster's power. Westminster's power has nothing over us. We have 2 elections coming up. In those elections we must stand together. The independence movement is not about personalities or parties. If we are serious about independence, then we must vote for independence parties, no matter what allegiance we are. We need to stop playing party politics, because I'm fed up of it. I am fed up of the bickering between us, when we should be standing together like the Wallace and the Murray at Stirling Bridge, and in the Scots at Bannockburn. And then again, it was Scots against Scots at Culloden, but they all stood there for what they believed in. At the next election, we have the time to tell Lord George Folks of Curnock where to go. And if I ever am elected, he can sanction me all he wants. And the same way Alistair Jack, he could go to buggery as well. If they want to sanction the Scottish people for speaking about independence, well, sanction us. What are they going to do? The time is now for independence, and we need to work together and stand together. SNP, ALBA, the Greens, any other independent party, we need to do it now. Next election, stand together, everyone. Exactly, Scotland United. Stand together as one movement, as this organisation is, all under one banner. That's what we need to do. We need to put country before party. Thank you.
Great stuff there for Sean. The future all under one banners in safe hands with new generation activists coming through like Sean. Now, our last act today, and it's to close this event, is Barbara MacDonald. She's been hanging on patiently a day. So I'd ask you to put your hands together for Barbara MacDonald.
Firstly, hello. What I'd like to say is, my name is Barbara Ann MacDonald, but I'm really Wilson. My maiden name, I like that better. We're actually Band Scotia, and we have a drummer who's invisible at the moment because it's only a wee stage. So unfortunately, he couldn't come. So I'm gonna sing you a song that I wrote. Because in the last referendum, I believed that we would do it. It's called Alabagubra. In a moment of time and space, Alabagubra, I feel your warm embrace. Alabagubra, and your waters flow through my veins. I share your joys, I share your pains, and the golden dream still remains. Alabagubra, my heart cries out for you. Alabagubra, my tears are your morning dew. Alabagubra, and like a child, you take me by the hand. You open my eyes, you make me understand why your castles have crumbled in the sand. Alabagubra, Alaba is Michel, Alabana is Michel Donier, non Gilles, non crie. Alaba is Michel, Alabana is Michel Donier, non Gilles Goubra. And now your time has come, Alabagubra, a golden sun greets the sun, Alabagubra, and the dream no more. Your land is free from shore to shore, right to her very core, Alabagubra. Is Michel, Alabana is Michel Donier, Namshi Kubra. Alaba is Michel, Alaba is Michel Donier, Namshi Mofri. In a moment of time and space, Alabagubra, again I feel your warm embrace. Alabagubra, and that dream will be a dream no more. My land will be free from shore to shore, right to her very core. Alabagubra, Alaba is Michel, Alabana is Michel Donier, Namshi Kubra. Alaba is Michel, Alabana is Michel Donier, Namshi Kubra. Alabagubra, Alabagubra, Alabagubra. Hey, thank you. This wee song, an Alistair MacDonald song. It's called The Declaration of Our Broth, which I think is very apt at the moment. In 1320 Scotland said, "You'd England dare our soil to tread. The blood will flow in rivers red before capitulation. No more will Scotland bow the knee to foreign prince, no ere he be. For come what may, we'll aye be free from English domination." Here's to the men who took the oath, the declaration of our growth. Freedom and right our causes both, to save us from damnation. Out with traitor, out with foe, give the Saxon blow for blow, and freedom's brightest star shall glow above the Scottish nation. It's not for honour that we sigh, no glory makes us long to die, but liberty is Scotland's cry, no English subjugation. Our fathers didn't die in vain, for while 100 men remain, no English king will o'er us reign. Stand up for Scottish nation. Took the oath, the declaration of our growth. Freedom and right our causes both, to save us from damnation. Out with traitor, out with foe, give the Saxon blow for blow, and freedom's brightest star shall glow above the Scottish nation. Too long we played the tartan fool, too long we bowed to English rule, too long we've cringed before Turnbull, afraid of confrontation. So heed the words from Lucy's pen, Scotland must be free again. Stand up 100 Scottish men who'll honour the declaration. Here's to the men who took the oath, the declaration of our growth. Freedom and right our causes both, to save us from damnation. Out with traitor, out with foe, give the Saxon blow for blow, and freedom's brightest star will glow above the Scottish nation. Out with traitor, out with foe, give the Saxon blow for blow, and freedom's brightest star will glow above the Scottish nation. And freedom's brightest star will glow above the Scottish nation. I am slipping, I am slipping. All right to go. Yeah. It's a wee Scottish song by the Corries. My favourite group. It's called Scotland Will Flourish. Scotland will flourish by the sweat of our labour, the strength of our will, and the power of our mind. Forget the old battles, those days are over. Hatred corrupts and friendship refines. Let the Scots be a nation that's proud of their heritage, with an eye to the future and a heart to forgive. and let us be rid of those bigots and fools who will not let Scotland live and let live. Let us govern our country wisely and fairly. Let each man and woman work with a will. And Scotland will flourish, secure in the knowledge we'll reap our own harvest and bring our own till. Let us be known for our kind hospitality, a hand that is openly proffered to friends. A hard-working people, proud and unbending, Scotland will thrive and win out in the end. Scotland will flourish by the sweat of our labour, the strength of our will, and the force of our mind. So forget the old battles, those days are over. Hatred corrupts and friendship refines. So let us be known for our kind hospitality, a hand that is openly proffered to friends. Oh, a hard-working people, proud and unbending, Scotland will thrive and win out in the end. Yes, let us be known for our kind hospitality, a hand that is openly proffered to friends. Oh, a hard-working people, proud and unbending, Scotland will thrive and win out in the end. Aye, Scotland will thrive and win out in the end. Aye, Scotland will thrive and win out in the end. Allemaal goed verhaal. Dat was lief. Chappelé. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thanks very much. Wonderful. Well, what a way to end what's been a really successful march and rally. We've had some great acts here, musical acts, that actually deserve a bigger crowd. Maybe next year when we reassemble here. Maybe when we reassemble here next year, we'll have a bigger crowd, perhaps better weather. And we've defied the Westminster wind machine, the Westminster rain machine. I noticed it actually came on just as the Stirling Directive was actually being read out. I don't know, I didn't believe in conspiracy theories, but maybe you never know. But I'd just like to thank Aberdeen for sticking with us and hanging about for so long. You've defied the weather, you defied Westminster, and we'll see us in due course in the Isle of Skye at the end of August. Thanks very much for attending. I'll be good, brah.